Grand Rising. Thank you for joining us for this Wednesday edition of the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Naima Latif, and I'm excited once again to bring you the future. The future of planet Earth, as has been predicted, and as you see in many futuristic shows, the future of planet Earth will be vastly different. We will not use money to exchange. We will not have this current monetary system. We will interact in a way that is cooperative so that everyone has what they need. Now, of course, many people who look at this idea say, oh, how is that going to happen? Well, maybe there'll be some new gold discovery, and or maybe we'll make the rich people share their wealth, or maybe there'll be a war and we'll take away all the rich people's financial assets, and maybe we'll forcibly make everybody adopt a system such as communism, and then that's what will change. No, that isn't it. The system that will replace what we currently have is a system that is based on desiring the well-being of others. It's simple. So when will that happen? When we simply decide. So today, we're going to show you how you can begin to decide. And among those people that you know, like, and trust, you can implement a system called service, sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. We'll talk about it. And we want you to call in. Our new call-in number is 312-721 MIC-U, 312-721-6428. We want to hear from you. And we'll be right back after this introduction. And when we come back, we want you to begin to think of just 5 people that you know, like, and trust. And this will begin the process of living in a moneyless society. It is possible, and it is coming. So we will be returning shortly. So stick and stay. Don't stray away. And if you are thinking of those 5 people that you know, like, and trust, then we suggest that you call them so that we can help you begin to implement service.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
Yes, this is the Female Solution. And if it weren't for the men, we wouldn't be here as well. So we are excited, as always, to be forerunners in what is to come. One of the things that we recognize in the society in which we live is that there is tremendous neglect and cruelty. And we want to change the way we see each other. We see homelessness, we see hunger, we see poverty, we see crime. And these are things we have learned to accept as a way of life. But it doesn't have to be so. So, all over the world, we have an opportunity to change the way we interact. We want to remind you once again that we are a global family. And as such, we have a responsibility to alleviate suffering of our family members. And we can do that. Let's greet our global family, and then we'll come on back and get you ready for a new mindset as we look at a new system of interacting in which it's based in our desire for the well-being of others. We'll be right back. Let's greet our global family.
We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Yes, we want to talk to you, and here is our new on-air radio network call-in number. Call in 312-721 Mike U. That's 312-721-6428. We want to hear from you because you are the one that makes this happen. So let's just talk for a moment before we show you a video. How many of you have ever been in a situation where you couldn't buy groceries for your children or yourself? Have you ever been in a situation where you didn't have enough money for food? We can see people in other nations that are starving seriously starving. And we might look at those images, see the swollen bellies of the children and the abject poverty, and we go, oh, that's so sad. That's a condition that's created by a whole set of circumstances that we'll talk about later. But what about the basics? I'm hungry and I'm broke and I don't have enough for a hamburger. Last week we talked about homelessness, not having a roof over your head, and what that feels like. There are a lot more people who are struggling to survive than we realize. People who go to food pantries just to make it through the month. People who eat junk food because a bag of chips is affordable, and that might be what they have to fill themselves up. So when we feel hunger and don't have basic resources to feed ourselves, that's a very frightening feeling. And it can drive a person to try to figure out a way to get a basic meal. So when a person does something like shoplift, sometimes it's motivated by the fear of not having access to something and knowing that people will not share. What does the beggar do after a day of panhandling, begging, asking for change, and no one feeds them? No one will share with them. No one will give that spare change that could perhaps get them through the day, or they could simply buy a hamburger. What happens? Eventually, they're going to figure out how to take, how to steal, how to do what's necessary to survive. And this is where crime actually comes from. It comes from the fear that others will not share. And sometimes that person who simply needed $2 for a bag of chips so they could alleviate the hunger turns into what we consider a criminal because they steal. We have created a system that is so very cruel, and we have not questioned it. We have not questioned the thought that there is so much food available. The earth gives us everything we need for absolutely free. And the system that we have created is based on making people work for us as an enslavement. We've created a system where, in order for people to get what is given freely to us all from the earth, those people who have positioned themselves as owners and controllers of these resources are forcing those to perform some type of labor in order to receive the symbols of what we call currency, and for that to exchange what they need. We talked a little bit about this last week, where the whole monetary system evolved. And every society has had some type of system of exchange. But over time, those who have taken control of resources by force use fear to keep others under control. And over time, we have accepted this enslavement. Now, there are many creative minds among us that have received inspiration from the higher mind, whatever you call it, to alert us that this is something we are choosing to do out of fear, not recognizing our collective power. You might recall the movie Ants or the movie A Bug's Life. And these were movies, Pixar, I believe, put those together. But these are supposedly cartoon films, wonderful for the children, but they contained a message that the collective masses are allowing themselves to be ruled by a small entity, when in fact they have the power to free themselves and create a system in which everybody is freely sharing, as opposed to following a system of being enslaved to a small group. We have that right now. And what needs to change is only one thing, and that is our minds, the way we think. And so we'll talk about service, which means sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. And this expresses a philosophy, because in order for us to change our society, we have to change our intention for our fellow human beings. And once we do that, we'll change the system that we have created. Sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. First word, sharing. Sharing. That means freely exchanging, freely giving, sharing. Right now, the current monetary system is based on withholding from you until you do something for me. Knowing what you need, and I'm not going to give it to you unless you've done something for me. So the current monetary system that causes people who fear that others will not share with them to take either by force or by deception. Sharing is when you desire to give out of the abundance of what you have. You have enough. So the idea is that you have enough and you can share. Our current monetary system is based on the thought that there's not enough. You have to compete for a job, there's not enough. You have to compete for a place at the university. There's not enough space to give everybody knowledge. You have to compete. There's not enough. The idea of there not being enough is what makes people not share. So that beggar with the cup that says, can you spare some change? Well, if you look at your $10 in your pocket, and you think, I just have $10, the attitude is there's not enough. So, yes, out of your $10, you could share $2 at least. So, this hungry person on the street could buy a bag of chips to alleviate the hunger if that's what they needed, buy a hamburger if that's what they needed. But as long as you believe there's not enough, then you won't share. So, the first thought is, how do we reverse the idea that there's not enough so that people will share? We're going to take another quick break and come back and talk about the rest of the components of service, sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. We can live in a society where we do not need money. All we have to do is share. But we must do it systematically. So we're going to talk about this system more when we come back. And we want you all to give us a call because we want to hear from you. 312-721-6428. Let's ask the question, can you think of 5 people that you know, like, and trust? Think about it. Do you know 5 people, whether they're friends or family, that you know, like, and trust? We'll let you think about that, and we'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Naima Latif, and if you're watching this, that means you're one of the 4.6 billion people from around the world who are using an electronic device to talk to people. In these times, people are using the internet to talk to everybody. Friends, neighbors, family members, co-workers. People are on their cell phones and computers all day long. Now, if you're in business, that is great news. That means you can sell your products and services all day long and never have to leave your home. All you need is a media connection, somebody to connect you to an audience. And that's why I'm talking to you today. We produce programs, and our audience members are people who shop. They buy clothes, food, beauty supplies, cleaning supplies, home repair, transportation services, child care services. Whatever you're selling, they need to buy it. We're your media connection. Just follow this link, and tomorrow you can sit back and relax at home while your business is making you money.
Yes, you can. And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show. I'm Dr. Naima Latif, and I'm here to introduce to you a system that you can participate in freely because it helps you to live freely. Now, we spoke about sharing as we introduced this system of service, sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. And the second word in this is Earth's. Sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange. The Earth. Everything comes from the Earth. Whether it is the food we grow or the materials we use to build our homes, whether it's rocks, which we make concrete, or sidewalks that we walk on and are paved with, or the trees, the wood. Everything that we need comes from the earth, whether it is cotton that we grow for our clothing. Everything comes from the earth, and the earth is charging us nothing. It doesn't cost. So where did the idea that there's a cost of living come from? It does not cost to live because the earth is giving us absolutely everything we need for free. So why does it cost? Think about that. Next, resources. Resources, things you need. Well, what do you need? You need perhaps the tools that you use to do something, the energy, the labor, the work required. Resources. Resources, of course, come from people. Whether we make something or create something, it's us contributing our energy to do something. And that's the key word, contributing. Next word, voluntarily. What does it mean to volunteer? To volunteer is when you do something of your own free will. How many of you have ever volunteered at an event? You wanted to see a concert, so you volunteered to perhaps be an usher or something. Because you wanted to be there, you volunteered. It was from your own free will because it was something you enjoyed. And when you enjoy something, you do it willingly. Ideally, people would have jobs that they liked, but many are working jobs that they hate. So you're not voluntarily going to work. You're going by force because you have to get paid because you need to eat and have a roof over your head. And this is where we're seeking to change the thought that life must be paid for because the earth is free. Why are we paying to live? Why are we paying to live? Who are we paying? In order for us to change the current system that we are voluntarily choosing to participate in, we have to undo the indoctrination that makes us believe it is necessary. And this is what we're introducing in terms of a series that will allow us to change the indoctrination that makes us believe we can't undo this system. So think about The idea that you must do work that you don't like in order for you to survive. What would you be doing if you could do what you love to do and all of your needs were taken care of? Think about that. What would you do? What would you be doing with your time? And some people say, well, I just sit and watch TV all day. Well, okay, you could do that and be bored. So let's say you wanted to contribute to the well-being of someone. What would you like to do? What if you wanted to express your creative ideas? Do you like to write stories? Well, perhaps for those people who are watching television all day and that's what they enjoy, what they're enjoying is someone else's creativity. And the people who create those stories and the people who act them out, they're enjoying what they do. So that is a valuable contribution to the society. And all the things that go into that. The building of the studio TV set and the design of the atmosphere that is created in order to tell this story. All of it is creative use of one's energy. And for those people who enjoy working in that industry, they perhaps would voluntarily do it. But they, of course, are getting paid. So the idea is that you can do what you enjoy and have all of your needs met. How do you make that happen? So the next word is implementing. Implementing. You implement something when you make it happen. You do it. You to actuality. And so this is where we want to change your mind and prepare your mind for a system that you can implement right now with those 5 people that you know, like, and trust. Because those people will help you implement a means of sharing, a means of giving voluntarily, a means of enriching and empowering others because you desire for their well-being. And when you implement it, when you do it, then you begin to see the benefits of it. So you're going to implement this system with beginning those 5 people that you know, like, and trust. Now, of course, we could say 5 to 10 people. But you need a solid group of people that you know, like, and trust. And the key word is trust. Because there are things in this system that require people to be honest and transparent. And so anyone who has any kind of deception inside of them can wreck the system. So in order for you to implement it, you need to have people that you know, like, and trust so that they can begin the process living in this society. We're going to take another quick break and be right back. And we invite you to call in and comment 312-721 Mike, you. That's 312-721-6428. And we will be right back after this quick break. So we want you to stick and stay. Don't stray away as we talk to you more about service. Sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implement creative exchange. It's the wave of the future, and the future is right now.
Hi, I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms.
And in case you didn't notice the resemblance, we're also three sisters.
We're going to be coming to you every week, sharing our successes and our mistakes as we navigate our lives as moms, wives, sisters, daughters, and of course, Black women in today's world.
We'll talk about it all: race, politics, religion, economics, culture, and we'll take a look at everything from whether or not to use corporal punishment to how do you teach your children about sex.
Look for our upcoming book, Growing Up Charles. It's a personal story about our lives growing up in Maple Park on Chicago's South Side. I'm Barbara.
I'm Cheryl.
And I'm Naima. We're three Black moms. Follow us on Facebook and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Three Black Moms.
And we are back. You're listening to and watching the Female Solution Global Radio TV show as we talk to you about service, sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange, and we want you to call in 312-721 Mike you. That's 312-721-6428. Call in and comment as we introduce to you a system that will forever change the way we function on planet Earth. In the future, we will not need money to survive. Well, the future begins right now. So everything starts with a thought. When you have been conditioned to believe that a system has always existed, then you lose the creative capacity to envision something different. And that's what has happened. But as soon as you can imagine something else, you can create it. That's what is necessary when we consider how we have allowed ourselves to believe that we don't have the power to change the system that we're in. And so on the Female Solution Global Radio TV show, we are taking advantage of the fact that as a global family, we can instantly change the culture of the world by putting out a thought, because it can travel instantly around the world. And therefore, we can change the culture everywhere simultaneously. All it takes is a thought. So what if the thought were put out that it was unnecessary to live by money. A thought that says it doesn't make sense for the few people who are claiming to control the earth are making everyone else work. The message in two movies, Ants and A Bug's Life, will give you a clue as to the message being given by these creative artists that it's time for us to stop allowing the few to dominate the many and charge us for what the earth gives everyone for absolutely free. So we want to share with you this video and begin the process of thinking, because we first have to question in order for us to think differently and create something different. We have to have an idea, a thought that makes us question what we have accepted as a necessary reality. And it never occurred to us that the way we think doesn't make sense. So now let's take a look at this thought on why we are paying for what the earth gives us for absolutely free. Oops. Wait a minute, let me make sure you can see this the way it's meant to be seen. Because one of the things that has to happen before things can change is that we question what we have allowed to be our reality. We have to question it. And if we don't question it, then we will not change it. We will not recognize that it doesn't make sense. So before we can implement something different, we have to have a change of mind, a change of heart. So this video is entitled A Change of Heart. Let's take a look at it. And then we can talk about it. And we want you to give us a call, 312-721 Mike U. That's 312-721 6428.
Isn't it great to be able to breathe the air? Because the air is free. It's free for everybody to breathe. But just imagine if the air cost money, if there were air companies that charged you a fee for your air, and you had to pay the fee, let's say $1 an hour. So that would mean $24 a day you have to have for your air fee. Can you imagine how crazy things would get? Let's say people decided they want to pay it in advance. Of course, you want to make sure you had your day's air paid in advance. So you have to pay that fee. Let's say by midnight that night, you have to pay your air fee. Then, of course, if you want to pay a week in advance, that would be
$168 you have to pay in advance. So of course, by 12 midnight on Saturday, if you didn't have your week's air fee paid, then the air police would come and transport over your nose and mouth and file people would be doing whatever they had to do to get that air fee paid on time. Of course, the smart people would want to pay at least a month in advance. So that would give them 30 days of air. $720 in advance. You can breathe and not worry. But pay that air fee in. If you didn't have that money, you would do whatever you had to do to get it. That would mean steal, even kill. Because if you don't have air, you can't live. So now just imagine what would happen if people didn't have the money to pay their air fees. Now, of course, the wealthy people would pay it well in advance. A year in advance, what would that be? $8,760. So you'd have 365 days of air if you had money. But what if you were unemployed and didn't have an income? What if your social security check was late and you didn't have the money to pay your air fees? Let's say when your child was born, you had to have your air fee paid in advance. Otherwise, as soon as your child came out, they clamped a covering over their nose and mouth so they couldn't breathe. And if you didn't have that air fee paid, within 5 minutes, your child would be dead. Wouldn't that be horrifying? Can you imagine the violence that would create? Because people would be struggling to survive. If you don't have air, you can't live. Well, thank God, the air is free and we don't have to pay. But just think about it. So is everything else. The air is free, but so is the ground. The earth is free, which means whatever grows out of it is free because it was all given to us by our Creator. Water is free. It was all given to everybody to share. So how did He allow some people to create a system where they said they own things? And they said, we own this and we'll kill you if you don't pay us a fee. It's the same insanity. Look at the violence that has created. People are trying to live, so you have to do whatever you have to do because you have to be able to eat. And if you don't have money, you won't have a place to live on the earth. So people are going crazy trying to get money, which is the symbol that those people who have taken control of things say you need in order to pay to live. Pay for the food that the Creator has given us for free. Pay to have a spot on the earth that the Creator has given us for free. Pay to drink the water that the Creator has given us all for free. So we have allowed others to take control of that which belongs to us all. And it's time to stop. That's why the entire money system is collapsing because it was wrong from the beginning. You can't earn enough money to pay for something that's already yours, and you shouldn't have to try because it belongs to all of us. So now, let's create the right a money system. The only thing we need a government for is to find out how many people live in our area and make sure each person has what they need to live. Enough food each day, water to drink, shelter, a place on the earth where they can live and not panic because they don't have money to pay. That's the insanity that created the violence. And we can stop this violence right now. But we've got to change the way we think because nothing that the Creator has given us for free should be paid for. Now, what we can do is create something called service units where we serve each other, and that's perhaps what we can exchange if we want extra things that each of us can provide. Those who have skills, we can share those skills, and people can get their service units. And of course, if you did nothing, it still wouldn't cost you to live because The Creator has already given us everything for free. So our government needs to make sure every man, woman, and child has what they need to live. And if you want extra, you can serve. That's the fair thing to do. And it would remove all the violence because no one would have to struggle to eat. They wouldn't have to struggle to drink. They wouldn't have to struggle to have a place to sit down and not have to pay to sit on the earth that's already free. We really can, people. And it's time because what we've created is affordable. Now, for those people who think they own things, maybe what we should do is stop buying from them. That's what a boycott is. And once you stop buying someone's product, it no longer has value. And so they do what's fair and provide support. We have to begin to share what we own. Now, those of you who belong to a faith community, feel free. Think about a way you can demonstrate the way it works. Because this is God's way. When all of the members of your community have what they need and they're sharing what they need, and nobody's doing without, and everybody has a place to live and clothes to wear because you're all sharing what you have, then you can provide a model for the rest of the world to follow. And if you're truly following God's way, you'll figure out a way to do that. Once we begin to share, then we end the need for violence because nobody has to struggle to live. Nobody has to struggle to have their share of what's already been given to them for free. So let's create a moneyless society. We really can do this. We can. All we need is a change of heart. And then everybody can breathe.
Yes, then everybody can breathe free. So, this is an opportunity for us all to create. And it doesn't take a government decree or anyone to give permission for us to do. So, if you're friends with me on Facebook, you know, we've done a series at 5:55 a.m. introducing ideas to you. And the last series, we, of course, we're preparing you for the first class that we'll be launching in our New Earth Homeschool Academy online, Parenting with Peace. But we're also introducing you to other wisdom teachers around the planet who are raising the consciousness of humanity by preparing us for a new earth in which there will be no violence. And in the very near future, our children will be living on a planet where people share freely as a means of exchange, as opposed to a monetary system that is oppressive and does not include everyone. So, in order for us to manifest that, we have to first envision it and then create a system that makes it possible. And this is one of the systems that will make it possible. So we'll be coming to you live at 5:55, periodically giving instructions on the system of service and how it works so that you can begin the process with those that you know, like, and trust and they can begin freeing you from a monetary system in which you are doing work that you don't like. So we will be implementing the system. The next word, creative. Creative exchange. You're creating something. You're creating something from a thought you envision. And it's something new, which perhaps didn't exist before. We are all powerful creators. And so when we create, we manifest something we have envisioned. So we're being creative in developing something out of a thought and making it a reality. Creative. The last word, exchange. That means that you are receiving for what you have given. You are giving and receiving. There is an exchange. What I get is equal to what you get. And both of us are pleased because we all have what we need. So this system of sharing Earth's resources, voluntarily implementing creative exchange, is a system which will free us from living in a monetary society and help us evolve into a way of living in which everyone's needs are provided for and everyone is included and everyone is at peace because no one has to fear that others will not share and therefore they do not have to steal. It's very simple. So as we have a change of heart and desire for the well-being of others, we're able to freely share in exchange for what will be the currency that allows us to get what we need. But it's not a currency controlled by any small entity. It's a currency that we have created. It's not Bitcoin. And there's nothing wrong with Bitcoin. It's a system that some people are choosing to use. But this, of course, is a currency that everyone has. Their own energy, their own time, their own ability to give. So we'll talk about this as we go live at 5:55. And if you're our friend on Facebook, feel free to share because we will continue to implement a system that will free you. So your first step is to identify in your mind 5 people that you know, like, and trust, and begin the process of service. I'm Naima Latif. Thank you for joining us. Come back tomorrow. Join us for Mama Africa's House. And until next week, continue to shine your light.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, zhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, Kamsamnida. Russia, Spasiba. Germany, Danke. Poland, Dziękuję. France, Merci. Spain, Gracias. Italy, Grazie. Egypt, Shukran. Ghana, Madasi. Nigeria, Eshe. South Africa, Ngiabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.